Hello and welcome to my little corner of the internet where I like to share everything self-development, personal growth, manifesting, well-being, being a mum, slow living, living in the countryside, lifestyle and more. My name's Mercedes and today I wanted to share my favourite manifesting technique. I've used this technique plenty of times that I've manifested in the most mysterious ways when I've done it, and I wanted to share with you today how to do it, how I do it, so that we can actually make it work. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I have a 28-day guide that is designed to transform your life in 28 days. And on one of these days, I share with you this technique. But today I wanted to dive a bit deeper with it and explain how I do it, tips on how to make it work, and why it's such a good technique to use. So the technique that I am sharing today is scripting. Scripting is a journaling tool to use when you want to manifest something into your life. I usually use this technique when it's something that is kind of life-changing. It's going to change my life on a daily basis, or if I need to get really clear on something that I want to manifest. I've used it for so many different things. I've used it for the home we live in. I've used it for money, experiences, when I felt really anxious about something and I want a really good outcome of something and feel more positive about it. If you struggle with anxiety, it's a really good one to start thinking of, other outcomes that might happen instead of having those anxious thoughts. I've also used this technique for things like fitness, weight loss. I've used it for ways that I want to feel about myself. There's plenty of things I've used it for that I've scripted and then gone back and thought it's like an incredible tool. And how some of the things have actually happened, it blows my mind. I know there is science behind this. I am not so great with the science behind manifesting, but I know it works because I've practiced it. I use it with faith. I just believe that we can manifest what we want when we are in the right mindset and we're in the right place in ourselves. I think that's the secret to manifesting. And sometimes I don't actually want to learn the whole science behind it because I can get a little bit obsessed with learning about things like that. So I just like to, it helps me relax if I almost just learn about manifesting through experience and practice and start proving to myself that it works. That's the best thing for me. So that is the way I'm going to share things, just through experience, what helps me. And yeah, so I think we should just begin and I should explain how I script and what I've got in my guide as well. This is my 28-day guide, 28 Days to Bloom, the recipe book for self-love and personal growth. I shared a video to introduce this book. I'll put it somewhere so that you can follow that if you haven't. It introduces you to the book and I do day one and you can do day one with me. So it's a little snippet of what's to come in the book. Today I am going to share the scripting exercise that I do in here. So it's actually day 6. There's a bit at the beginning I won't read because unless you do the guide you won't know what I'm talking about. To script, you need a notebook or a piece of paper. You can do it in your phone notes. I've always found that when I script, I actually like doing it pen to paper and keeping it in a notebook. I quite like having a notebook just for things like this. So it's like a positive notebook of things that you can go back to see, what's manifested, and also build up momentum. It's a good thing to have, get clear on exactly what you want so that you can come back to it in the future. Or you can get my 28-day guide, which has it in there as well. So get a pen, get a piece of paper, and this is basically scripting. You're going to start writing a future journal entry on a typical day of your life in your desired state. So you're going to imagine that whatever you want to manifest or your desired state, the way you want to feel about something, the way you want to feel about life, the way you want to get up every day and feel or bring into your life, you're going to imagine that you have it. You want to be thinking from that mindset. You want to be embodying those emotions and those feelings that you have when you have that thing that you want to manifest. So you're going to be viewing life from your future self. I hope that makes sense. So you're going to sit and think and imagine that you're writing maybe at the end of the day, a typical day in your life. Here I've written, include what your daily routine would be, how you feel, so important about how you feel, and what's going on in your life. Write it in the present tense as if what you are journaling is actually happening right now, or the past tense as if it has just happened. Say you want to manifest a new job opportunity, and you could be writing it as a day at the job. You could write it as that you have just had news that you've got this job and how you feel, what's going on. You can also write your routine about when you have this job, you know, what changes. Do you get up a bit earlier? What's your morning routine? What do you wear to work? How do you hold yourself? How do you travel to work? All these kind of things. Just really immerse yourself in believing and playing the game that this is actually happening right now. This is your reality. You're that person that has it. You've been given it and it is here. Scripting and writing down exactly what you want and how you want to feel is great because it gets you in the state of having it, your desired state. Like I said, emotion and the way you feel and think is so important because that is what's going to bring it in. I believe it's what you're feeling and setting that attention. They're like magnets. So when you feel that feeling and you think that thought, you are bringing it into your life. If you're scripting about something or you stop and you think, that's never going to happen, I'm not going to put in that in because I don't believe it, you obviously have some limiting beliefs or barriers around that certain thing that you want to manifest. For this exercise, really try and have fun with it and just imagine for a day that nothing else can get in the way of this. This is your dream and you're just making a plan and a goal of what your dream is. You're just having fun. There are no limitations on what you're writing down right now. That is something that we can work on later on. So just write exactly what you want to write and try and be quite detailed about how your day would be and who you would need to be as well to be manifesting these things in. So like I said, your morning routine, how you dress, what you do in the day. Do you exercise? Do you eat well? Are you with your family? Are you with your friends? Do you live somewhere? Do you live abroad? All these different things that you can write down a list. Scripting is great because it gets you really clear on exactly what you want and focused on what you do want rather than what you don't want. It's meant to bring about excitement as well, and that's why I say there's no limitations. Just, you know, get yourself in that mode of like anything is possible and just have fun with it. The good thing about scripting as well is I think because you're writing down exactly what you want, you see what you want and where you are, and it gives you that like motivation to see how to bridge that gap of what your habits need to be to get you to that place. And you'll see it as well when you're writing. You'll start thinking about things like, okay, so if this is me now, I would be doing this. You know, I'd be getting up an hour earlier. So maybe you could start implementing those habits of getting up an hour earlier. It might motivate you to actually do the things that you know that you can do to manifest these things into your life. The next part of the day 6, the manifesting and scripting exercise in this book, once I've scripted something, I like to do a bit of a part 2, and that is to visualize. I know not everyone finds it easy to visualize, so I am going to give you a little technique after I've read this that helps. It's also very important that when you visualize, it is again the feeling that you're bringing up and noticing what emotions they are so that you can like tap into them in between scripting and just going through your everyday life and bringing those feelings up again. So when you're visualizing, again, it's getting the intention out there and matching it with a feeling. And then, like I said, they're like magnets to bring these things in. So the next part of this day is once you have journaled, sit comfortably with your eyes closed and imagine watching yourself living that life. So yeah, close your eyes, maybe take a couple of deep breaths just to keep you relaxed. And hopefully after your scripting, you are in that energy of like feeling really good and positive and excited. And that's what we want when we're visualizing. That's why it's great to do this just after scripting. Start thinking these kind of things like, what do you do? How do you look? How do you carry yourself? What's your daily routine? What do you wear? Who is around you? Where are you? If you can't clearly imagine these things, that's okay. The most important thing in this exercise is how you feel. Now, imagine coming face to face with that version of you that is living the life of your dreams, living the manifestation. So now imagine coming face to face with that version of you, the version of you that has manifested the life that you want, and step into that version of you. Now, I like to do this like I'm actually face to face with me, the future self of me, and I like to give her a hug and really feel grateful to her that she's got there, like she's got to the place that I want to be. And that brings up another feeling, another emotion of gratitude. And gratitude is such a big game changer in manifesting. The more you're grateful for, the more you attract it in your life. It is the law of attraction, like attracts like. If you're grateful for what you already have, you will get more of it. That is the law of attraction. I do think it's like where your energy and focus goes, energy flows. Gratitude and love are the highest states that you can be in. So I think it's really important that in this visualization where you are visualizing your future self, you are so grateful for them that they have put in the work and they have got to where you want to be. As I'm hugging the future Mercedes and I'm feeling grateful, I am closing my eyes, I'm in that state of gratitude, and I become her. Because we're becoming one, I am becoming that version of myself who is living that life, who feels like that and has done the work and has got there. And I am feeling grateful, I'm feeling proud, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling motivated, and life is like the best ever. That again puts you in like an even higher state and is a magnet to the things that you want to call in. Now you've become your future self, it is time to visualize the same things that you've been doing or watching your future self do. You're visualizing from your own eyes. And I want you to ask yourself, how do you feel? Hopefully you are feeling absolutely incredible and you're feeling like on top of the world and that you can manifest all these things and they are attainable and achievable and you're worth it and you're worthy of everything and you're ready to get out there to go and get it. Or not go and get it, receive it. You're open to receiving. Because sometimes you have to take a few steps and let your manifestation take a few steps to you, and that means receiving. And that doesn't always mean work towards your goals. Sometimes you've got to take a step back so that you can allow that space for it to come in. I have to say, most of the things I manifest, or I have intentionally manifested, I will say, because we are always manifesting something, whether you use these techniques or not, we are manifesting something all of the time. But that's for another video. Anyway, most of the things I have intentionally manifested come when I am not looking for it, I am not trying to control it, and I am not in that mode of like, get there. It's usually after I've done the work and I've taken a step back and I am allowing space for this thing to come in my life. That is when most of the time, I can't actually think of one time that it hasn't been that way right now. Most of the time it is actually when I have like relaxed about it and I am not in the mindset of lack, I'm not in the mindset of need, and I am not in the mindset of waiting for something. It's when I feel good and I feel like I know it's coming, it doesn't matter when. I'm feeling positive and just enjoying life as it is, and that is usually when something manifests. At the end of this day, I've written scripting and visualizing are a great way to get clear on what you really want, so I said earlier, and how you would feel if you were there. This is a powerful tool to manifest the life of your dreams, so come back to this practice anytime you would like to build momentum. It depends what mindset or frame of mind you're in with this certain thing that you're trying to manifest, whether to come back to this exercise or not. Sometimes if I'm just like, it's not a big deal, this is what I'd like, but I'm happy, I could write one script and it could just happen. There's no time limit on it. When I haven't got a time limit on it, that's usually when it comes sooner, because I don't have that like attitude or feeling of need that is gonna like fill the gap. And when we feel like that, we're not in the state of having it. We're in the state of it not being there. Where is it? It's not here. So the universe says, no, it's not here. You're still waiting. So when I feel like I'm good, either way, this is what I'd like, but you know, I'm happy, that's usually when something will manifest. That means I don't have to script again. If you feel like you can't quite get clear on what you want to manifest, or you feel a bit like after you've done it, you start thinking about maybe the negative thoughts again or question it, that is probably when you could script a bit more, or maybe use a different manifesting technique alongside this and work on those limiting beliefs. There's other ways of working with them. I usually use EFT, or I have other things in this book that help with limiting beliefs as well. There's something that you probably need to work through. Also, if you don't feel like you're completely clear on what you want, that might be a good way of scripting again if you want to change something and build the momentum with that thing. And I say build momentum, putting positive energy into those things. Positive thoughts, that is building momentum. Building momentum isn't doing it every day because you're thinking it's not here, so I've got to do it every day. That's not building momentum. That's coming from a state of lack and panic. And you know, sometimes things do manifest even when you're in that state, but I, in my personal experience, wouldn't want that, because I feel like when you feel like that and you want to hold on tight to something so much and it happens, it's hard to keep hold of it because you're not quite in that, you know, it makes you actually feel a bit uncomfortable having something like that because you need it so much. So it's always good to be in a state of, that's what I want, but I am happy either way. You know that when it comes into your life, it's natural. It's natural for that to happen. And they're great affirmations to use as well. Like, it's natural for me to have this. It's natural for me to have this. It's natural for me to have what I want. And that is the state we want to get into. Gratitude, love, happiness, excitement, and it's natural. The last thing I want to share today is a visualization to test your visualization skills. Okay, not to test it, but maybe to see where it is at the moment so that you can work on it. This is what I always go back to test and to prove to myself that I can visualize something and bring it into fruition. I can make something tangible. I can have a clear vision in my mind and I can make it happen in my reality. And the one I always go back to, actually I have a few, but this one is simple for everyone, and it is to manifest a free cup of coffee. When I first started Instagram, my Blue Mindset Instagram for manifesting and self-development, I shared this. I shared two different exercises actually. Do you know what? I'm going to share them both. One was get a free cup of coffee, and I tested it and it happened. So I posted about it and shared how I did it. So super simple. Close your eyes, thinking about manifesting a cup of coffee. Imagine, you don't need to imagine the person. Just imagine you are being given a free cup of coffee. You do not need to work out who's given it to you. You do not need to know how it's given to you. You do not need to work out how it's free. All you need to do is visualize, picture that cup of coffee being passed to you, and it is in your hand. I do a takeaway coffee. I don't know why. I feel the heat as it's being passed to me, the feel of the cup. I bring it up to my nose. I can smell the coffee. I'm thinking maybe a oat milk vanilla latte. I can smell it. I bring it up to my mouth. I take a sip. It's hot. So I'm thinking like the temperature, everything. I am so immersed in that moment and I'm feeling so grateful that somehow I have got a free cup of coffee, and also excited because I have intentionally manifested this and thought I'm going to get a free cup of coffee, visualized it, and my visualization has worked. So I am feeling good and excited. And then I take a sip again and I'm just grateful and I'm holding my cup of coffee. And that is all you need to do. You're using your senses to visualize, not just your mind to imagine it, just seeing it. You want to immerse yourself so that you are in that situation using your senses. And that is how you manifest a cup of coffee. I was going to share my other exercise as well, but I might actually leave that for another time. I want to make sure it's very clear. And I also want to check, because I wasn't going to mention it today, I want to check the results so I can share them with you next time, of the people that actually messaged me and said what happened to them when they did this exercise. So I need to check that because I haven't looked at it for a long time. So it's something else you can look forward to. I will tell you it has something to do with money, so you might want to check that video out. I'm actually excited. What I might do is do that exercise after this video, and then I can share what I manifested in that time of doing the visualization. I'm also going to do the visualization with you with the cup of coffee. So I'll be manifesting a cup of coffee and doing my money exercise, and I can share all the examples and experiences that people sent in to me when I shared it with them, and I'll share my own as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know as well, if you watched this video, let me know your favourite manifestation tools and what you've manifested as well. Like, if you ever want to share with me how you've manifested something and what you've manifested, I'd love to hear it. I always think it's a good idea to share these things. You know, the more people we hear about that have manifested something, the more we believe in it, the more we're going to see results, because we're not going to have that doubt in our minds. So yeah, share your stories with me and whoever else might see the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely day and week, and hopefully I'll see you next time.